Origins of ancient relic revealed by research team during an episode on The Curse of Oak Island. In order to evaluate a piece of leather that was discovered close to the money pit, the Legina team confers with leather specialist Joe Landry. They find out that the leather was tanned using oak bark and that it dates back to the Middle Ages. It may have come from the boot of a medieval officer. The group is thinking about running some extra tests to see whether there was any kind of dye involved. They stress the significance of applying science and specialized knowledge in order to comprehend the artifact and learn more about the background of this origin of ancient relic that has just been revealed. The group led by Rick and Marty Legina meets with Joe Landry, a specialist on rare papers and artifacts, to conduct an examination of a piece of leather that was found close to the money pit. Joe adds that it is leather that has been tanned using oak bark, which is a process that has been around since the Middle Ages. The group theorizes that it might have been a piece of a boot worn by a military officer during the time period associated with the money pit, and that it might have been found in the money pit. In the event that this interpretation is accurate, it may point to the existence of a link between this artifact and a leather boot sole that was discovered in the vicinity at a prior time. The group examines the potential of carrying out more tests to discover whether or not the leather was treated with any kind of dye, as this could provide additional insights into the age of the item. In general, they stress the significance of utilizing science and specialized knowledge in order to comprehend the artifact and discover the greater story that lies behind it. They express their appreciation to Joe for his direction and then discuss the next steps that they need to take. They have a discussion about the many actions that they need to take, such as investigating the potential cultural impacts and getting the input of other specialists. They expressed their appreciation for the opportunity to look into this type of material, which is not usually discovered in Canada or Nova Scotia, and expressed their enthusiasm to share the results with the remaining members of the team. In general, they have a positive attitude towards the possibilities of new findings that can be attained through additional testing and have a high regard for Joe's extensive store of knowledge. Oak Island rests atop a glacial tumulus system and is underlain by a series of water-filled anhydrite cavities, both of which may be to blame for the pit's recurrent flooding. Oak Island is a pit that has been flooded multiple times. This particular variety of limestone is very susceptible to dissolution in the presence of water, which results in the formation of caves and other natural cavities. In the vicinity of the pit, bedrock can be found at depths ranging from 38 to 45 meters, 125 to 148 feet. Since the 18th century, people have been looking for treasure and artifacts and making attempts to find them. Pirate treasure, Shakespearean manuscripts, the Holy Grail, and the Ark of the Covenant are all examples of the kinds of artifacts that have been postulated to reside on the island. According to one popular theory, the Holy Grail and the Ark of the Covenant were both buried on the island by the Knights Templar. Over the years, numerous artifacts that were initially discovered on the island have made their way to the surface. Some of these artifacts have now been carbon dated and determined to be hundreds of years old. It is rumored that hidden pirate treasure, long-lost wealth left by the Knights Templar, spoils from the Civil War, and even hints to the horrifying truth about who truly penned Shakespeare's plays are buried somewhere underneath the dunes, swampland, and forests of Oak Island. These are just some of the wonders that are said to exist somewhere beneath Oak Island. The Legina brothers and the rest of the crew always have the optimistic expectation that their subsequent dig, episode, or season would undoubtedly repay their efforts. Despite the fact that their findings are occasionally less than newsworthy, such as scattered coins, rotten fabric, and shards of pottery, they continue to be joyful. However, the truth of the matter is that some of the most fascinating discoveries made on The Curse of Oak Island aren't exactly what some of us would consider to be treasure. The infamous Scottish pirate Captain Kidd, who lived in the 17th century, the English playwright William Shakespeare, and the Knights Templar, who were a medieval order of holy warriors who amassed huge wealth and power and were believed to have hidden the famed Holy Grail, are all possible candidates for the treasure's connection to the island. Other possible candidates include the English playwright Henry V. The tale of how the treasure came to be on the island and how it was hidden there is shrouded in mystery, regardless of where the treasure came from in the first place. In the centuries that have passed since, it has been difficult to differentiate between reality and fiction due to the fact that the majority of the island's history of treasure hunting has been preserved mostly through rumor and supposition. In addition to this, it is possible that treasure hunters have circulated false information in an effort to put others off the scent. In the depths of the pit, earlier treasure hunters had discovered a wonderful array of objects, such as ancient crockery, a curious piece of parchment paper, and hints of gold on the end of drill bits. The Laginas were the most recent treasure hunters to make these discoveries. They have also uncovered objects that may have been involved with efforts to booby-trap the pit, such as stones, pieces of wood, and mounds of coconut fiber. These objects include stones and bits of wood. In a similar vein, there is evidence that suggests past treasure hunters made an effort to obstruct the flow of water in their search for the buried riches. The most intriguing artifacts unearthed from the crypt include a number of coins, some of which date back to the 16th century, a number of gold links, and in a discovery that has baffled treasure hunters and researchers alike for the better part of 2 centuries, a stone with inscriptions that cannot be deciphered. All of these artifacts may be found in the crypt. Many treasure hunters are under the impression that they have accessed a sizable vault at a depth of more than 100 feet in the money pit. The majority of the items that have been unearthed from within and around the pit to this point have more historical worth than monetary value. Some things provide enticing clues to treasures that have not yet been discovered, while others point to brand new puzzles. Enjoying this video so far? Have you subscribed yet? Do so now for more updates on amazing discoveries, and also hit that notification bell to be notified immediately the next post is up. An earlier digger supposedly discovered a stone in the pit in the year 1804 at a depth of approximately 90 feet, as stated in a letter written by treasure hunter Jotham B. McCulley in the middle of the 19th century. The stone is between 2 and 3 feet in length and anywhere from 12 to 16 inches wide. It appears to be a dark Swedish granite with an olive hue, but it does not resemble any rock that is native to the area. The stone is carved with mysterious symbols, the interpretation of which has been the subject of much heated discussion. According to one interpretation, the stone was etched with symbols that were supposed to symbolize the letters of the English alphabet. It might be translated as 40 feet below 2 million pounds are buried, according to one interpretation of the text. Other researchers, on the other hand, think it was supposed to represent France, and they think the symbols were tied to the Knights Templar in some way. According to the Oak Island Compendium, an online research collection, a local legend states that the treasure won't be discovered until after 7 people have lost their lives searching for it. However, similar to the many other tales that are associated with the island, there is no written evidence that can shed light on who originally placed the curse on the treasure in this manner, or even if the treasure was ever cursed at all. To this day, 6 individuals have lost their lives while searching for the wealth. Even though this alleged curse hangs over the Lagina brothers, it is quite evident that they are placing a high priority on their own safety as they investigate. Shocking new discovery stuns researchers. Click on the next video to find out more.